Well, hello and welcome to the 100X Certified Podcast for Movers. I want to welcome you guys. It's 2026 and we're going to be doing new things, do bigger things. And so this is a podcast that we're going to be hosting. I'll be hosting Ernest Pena Jr. I am co-founder and certified trainer with 300X Academy. And so we're excited, for the new season. 300X Academy is going into its fourth year and done some really significant things, helped a lot of people, done a lot of trainings, and we're excited about the way we've been able to invest and be a part of the industry and help people transition. So I want you guys to bear with me. Obviously, this is our first episode. We'll get better as we always have. From our first training, we started out, didn't know how it was going to end up, how it was going to be, if it was going to be our first or last training. And we've gotten better and better every single time. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and you'll see us on several platforms. Like I said, we'll get better as we go. I'm not trying to be perfect in the presentation. I'm here by myself. Obviously, I'm not always going to be here by myself. We'll be having guests on the show. We'll be doing some innovative things with you guys, making announcements and things like that. So one of the things I want to tell you about the purpose of the show, we want to bring the industry is reforming. There's a revolution, a reformation in the industry. We've been talking about this. When I say we, 300X has been talking about this for since August of 2022, when 300X started. And we've said, myself, Juan Mata, for years and years and years, me back since 2013, I knew that a reformation was coming. When we met in March of 2022, Juan and I, we sat down, we discussed a lot of things, and we agreed that there was a change coming. At that time, the no touch, not the no touch driver, but the no touch way of doing things, meaning a freight trader and freight traders showing up to residents and things like that. Well, we knew that it was going to be a new thing. It's kind of fallen off just a little bit, but I believe personally that it's going to be back. And so we knew that there would be alternative means of transportation just because of a generation of drivers that is moving on in their life, either because of industry challenges, because their bodies can't take it anymore, those type of things, moving on to be with the family. And so we knew that this new generation of movers and drivers doesn't want or can't their relationships support them being on the road as much as the old school drivers were. And so we saw this transition in the industry. We see technology having a big impact. And so we want to define those things on this podcast. Right now, my goal is to probably have a episode a week. I wanted to kind of start on January the 1st, but we just kind of give some time for people to make adjustments, make their plans. And so we want this podcast not only to be informative, but we want it to be a place where people can listen to real life things, stop all the rumors, and hopefully lay to rest some of the drama that goes on in our industry. Understand, how to rise above that and get to the level that you want. Stop fighting for position, jockeying down on the labor service level, and learn how to think like real businessmen. So we're gonna get into a lot of subjects. I won't list them all, but we'll get into a lot of subjects. Obviously, one of them will be training. That's going to be top subject, and how we can help you as a company, as a driver, as a crew leader, as a owner, as a dispatcher, as an operations manager, as a warehouse manager, as an owner operator. Several ways that 300X has been able to be a part of people's lives and help go to that next level. So the podcast is another avenue that we're able to impact and help the industry. We'll get to know some people. This will be a regular thing. I know that there's been some attempts, to do some podcasting. I know there are some other moving podcasting out there that are focused on certain niches. We have always, at this point in 300X, in the season that we've been in for the last 3 years, we continuously focus on the niche of the dispatch window, the operations desk, all the way down to the customer's house, right? We know that there are training companies out there that training on processes and procedures, systems, and things of that nature. And those are all necessary, very important. The one thing that I have always said, and this is something that we try to communicate when we're doing our trainings, is we're trying to communicate the fact that you guys have all seen an advertisement, maybe a restaurant, showed some pictures, showed some advertisements. Maybe you heard about a particular place. And when you actually went to the place, it wasn't like the pictures, it wasn't like it was advertised, and you were disappointed in the service, you were disappointed in the quality of food, maybe the presentation, maybe the atmosphere, the vibe, whatever it was, right? And so what 300X has inserted itself into the industry is that there's thousands of moving companies in the States. We also deal with moving companies in Canada, and we have some from other countries that are now reaching out to be a part of the training. One of the things that we've tried to communicate to owners, to operations, to dispatch is this. We know that your advertising is important. We know that getting leads, getting sales, locking in jobs, making sure that your company is functioning and running, and there's some high quality advertisement. You guys are spending a lot of money in the advertisement, spending a lot of time to go get those jobs so that you can service your market, build a brand, and do all those things. But here's the key, and here's where 300X fits in. If your service, when your team shows up, doesn't match your advertising, eventually or can continuously cause you a problem. So we've heard from a lot of owners that that's some of the problems that they're having with. Another thing that we've heard from owners is they teach their guys, they preach to their guys, but they're just not getting through. And one of the things that we tell them is it's kind of like a parent. Your parents tell you over and over and over again, they teach you, they try to teach you life concepts and stuff. And at some point, as a child, as a kid, as a young adult, you become numb to listening to your parents, and it doesn't have the impact that it should have. And so sometimes a coach, a trainer, a mentor, somebody that you begin to admire, somebody on YouTube, an influencer begins to say something, and all of a sudden it clicks. And the funny thing is, I always get the eyes rolling or something like that, you that come back and say, "Oh, mom, oh, dad, this guy said this or this person told me this." And you're sitting there as a parent saying, "Oh my God, I've been trying to tell you this on a daily basis and you don't even listen to me anymore." And so the impact that 300X has had is we are that outside source that comes in to share concepts and principles and etiquette and claims prevention. And the guys are just responding in a dynamic way. And I know it can be frustrating for owners because a lot of owners have the experience that you want to give your guys, but because of time, patience, just your schedules, you don't have the proper setup to continuously provide the training that your teams need. So that's where 300X comes in. That's how this podcast is going to, the hopes are, the goal is that the podcast becomes an assistant to all of those things as we continue in our journey to making the industry better, reforming the industry, and revolutionizing the way things are done in our industry and getting better at every level of the game. So we're excited. I'm excited about this new venture for X Academy, 300X certified, the podcast for movers. And we're excited. We've got some exciting things as far as titles and subjects and things of that nature. So we're going to have these episodes out on a weekly basis. That's the goal. We don't want to do about 2 or 3 episodes and then fall off. We want to continue, and we'll share some insight. We'll share some things, hopefully get some feedback from you guys, have a few of you on the podcast to share some of your experiences, your expertise, maybe even some of your frustrations, maybe some things that you guys want to discuss out in public. A lot of times you find in this industry, and Juan and I have experience in training, there's a lot of common factors between every company, and a lot of people feel like they're the only ones that might be going through it, and that's not the case. There's a lot of common denominators straight across the board. And so these are things that, even though you feel you're alone, maybe you're the only one struggling at this, you're not. So we want to be here to be a support. I know how important it is. With my experience in the industry at 40 years and several hats that I've worn, I will share personal experiences, and we'll get through and hopefully push you guys to the next level as we discuss, certain things. So again, we're excited. We're in training season. We consider training season to be, right after August, which the beginning of September, to go all the way through, about April 30th. We did some late training, what we consider late training in early May of last year, which we, obviously were grateful for and excited about. But we know that once the busy season hits May 15th to August 15th, August 1st, that, that the dynamics of what movers have to do and how we need to transition is extremely important. So we're going to get into all of that. And, training season is, 300X's peak season for training is those months of September 1st to early May or late April. And of course, peak season for movers is April 15th, May 1st, all the way to August 30th, 31st. Again, we're going to focus on that. We're going to talk about some of the science of movers. We're going to get into some things that maybe you didn't think about. And we'd love to hear some of your suggestions on what we can do on some of these episodes, some of your input, some of the things that you guys might want to hear. And again, just excited for this new venture. We have the mindset that we've flown all over the country. We've done some trainings for 2 to 3 people, and we've done trainings for above 100 people in some cases. But in every case, we bring the same passion, we bring the same energy, and we're going to do that here on the podcast also. I'll get used to the camera, I'll get used to the equipment that we'll be using. By no means am I a techie. So I'm a middle school mover that's learning technology. I'm challenging myself to take some courses in AI, take some business management courses. At 54 years old, I'm still trying to educate myself and learn to stay up with things and to benefit from what the future and the industry has to bring. So I'm excited to be a part of this new generation. I'm excited to be able to contribute. And I'm also excited to remain a student in the industry and learn everything that I possibly can from you guys, as well as contribute what I can so that you can enhance and get better every single day. And again, that's from an owner, ops manager, general manager, to dispatcher, warehouse manager, owner operator, crew leaders, team leaders, straight truck drivers, tractor trailer drivers, from international moves to local moves to interstate moves, to office moves. We're here to try to contribute what we can. We will give you our best. When we don't have an answer, we won't pretend to try to give you an answer. We don't want to make things up. We want to give you correct and accurate information and be able to participate with you guys on a daily basis. So again, we appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you hitting the like button. This is new for us. We'll get better. We'll get more familiar with how the platform works. Again, this is training season and companies are already preparing for peak season. There's a few organizations that are going to have their conferences coming up March, April. The business owners that'll be flying out to their networking events, conferences, and things of that nature. And there's very little training or preparation or network conferences for movers themselves. I think that's a very sad situation, and 300X can participate with changing some of that, because I believe it's important for the industry to get to know each other at every level. On that note, keep in mind that 300X has a studio in California where we provide 2-day training sessions at our studio once a month, and you can look us up. We'll leave some information on these podcasts so that you can go direct, give us a call, send us a messenger, things of that nature to participate with those trainings. The other thing is we do have a training coming up in Georgia in April with Brian Moran over at Royal Reload, 300X and Royal Relocation. Brian is putting up a studio for Royal Relocation, and we have collaborated together to doing a training in April. We're excited about that. We get excited about the trainings. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that people have concerning training, right? On Facebook, on some of these other platforms, people see the wrapping, the pictures and the videos of the wrapping and the packing and the loading and things that are done at a quality level. And I think people get the misconception that when you come to a training, that that's all that we're going to do for 2 to 3 days, right? There's much more There's much more to the training than just going to pack, wrap, and load. Now, that's how we end our sessions. That's how we end the afternoon of the first day. That's how we end the afternoon of the second day. But for the most part, people are pleasantly surprised, overjoyed, and I think they're caught off guard with the content of how the trainings are brought about. We discuss movers etiquette. We define what that is. We define what that looks like. These are all interactive trainings. This is not just people sitting there listening to somebody speak. We are constantly interactive. We're constantly taking notes. We're discussing. We're bringing up scenarios. One of the things that Juan and I, during the trainings that we present ourselves is we're not here as experts. We're not the all knowing. We're not even here to present that this is the only way that that you are to do things, right? Because we understand that there's hundreds of different variables that you guys face all the time. That's one of the exciting things of the exciting things about the nature of being a mover is that you don't have a mundane routine job, right? Every day you're faced with something different. Every house is different. Every walk is different. Every pack job is different. Every customer is different. Every pieces of furniture that you encounter, the transitions in the house, the stairs, the turns, the challenges that we all face on a daily basis that make us warriors of the moving industry, right? So many obstacles to overcome, stress levels and attitudes and in all of that, having to remain professional, having to give the customer an experience and separate yourself from the average or the below average mover as a company or as a team, as an individual, right? And so we define movers etiquette for you guys. We define claims prevention and what that looks like, right? Claims prevention is not just trying to avoid a claim, but it's planning strategically not to have claims and things to do, the methods of the parts box and methods of lane floor protection, the things to keep in mind, the things to look out for, how to communicate with your team, how each crew leader, faces the challenges of coaching and conducting the team and everybody taking part, right? So there's so many dynamics. We role play with that. We get into situations and scenarios and questions and answers and takeaways. And so it's an all hands on all everybody's thought processes and minds, and it's a very impacting 2 to 3 days that we are there. And we love, Juan and I love seeing the lights go on. I mean, there's times where we got to spend 30-40 minutes just teaching guys how to use a tape gun. We don't consider that as like, oh my God, we can't even get to the next stage, because that's all part of it, right? How to close a box, how to make a custom box, when to do it. Mata Style is a nationwide brand. Juan has done an amazing job at building a brand for himself, just like Brian Moran at Roy Relo. Not every single job calls for the Mata Style loading, right? So you got to know when to do it, especially companies that are locally focused on local moves. There's no need to go the extra mile, but that doesn't mean that you have to give up on your quality and the experience that you're giving your customer. What is it that separates yourself from the average and the below average mover or moving company, right? So that's where the misconception is concerning training, right? Another misconception is that training is only for new people. I can tell you throughout my career, this coming May, I will be in the industry for 41 years. I come from a very, very prideful background, right? Old school movers are probably some of the most prideful people that exist, right? We went through the school of hard knocks. Our dads told us, watch what I do, learn what I do, son. Taps on the head, knocking down stacks of pads to get it right. And so we learned through the school of hard knocks. And I've learned over my lifespan, over my career, that not everybody needs that type of learning. Not everybody can learn that way. Some people you have to be more instructional. Some people got to everybody has a different way of learning. And to be a successful trainer, a successful mentor, you have to find that way that individual is going to learn. One of the misconceptions, and this is something that we've experienced in the training sessions that we've done, is, we get more attitude in the first 10, 20 minutes of guys posturing up and, popping a swag, guys that have been in the industry for, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40 years. By the first 2 hours, they're sitting there, basically saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. This is incredible. And I wish that I had taken this when I first heard about it. Or why didn't I get an opportunity?" We've had veterans, owners of companies, literally in tears come to us and say, "I wish that I would have had this kind of training when I first started in the industry 30, 40 years ago," right? So there's a misconception that this is only for new people. I can tell you my position and Juan's position, because we've worked together long enough to know each other. I can tell you that we're there as trainers, but we're there also as students. So some of the veterans that come in and say, "Hey man, can I suggest this?" or "What do you guys think about that?" And there's takeaways for us too. So we tell people in the trainings, one of the hardest jobs that we have as trainers is to meet and keep everybody in the room engaged. And because you have people that have been there on day one, first day as a mover, not knowing what's going on. And in that same room, you got people that have been in it for 30 years. So put yourself in a position as a trainer that you've got this wide gap of people and experience levels, and you got to keep everybody engaged in that training for 2 days without them getting bored, without thinking it's a waste of time. And fortunately, we've been successful at doing just that. We've never had anybody in the trainings that we've done come and say, "Man, this was a waste of time. It was boring. You guys need to get a life." We get excited, the energy in the room. We're not motivational speakers, but we do get motivated along with the crew, the groups, and the companies that we've been training. So this is not just for new people. And now I will say this, the training is not for everybody. And I'll tell you, those that are disqualified from training, it's the guys, or I should say individuals, that think they know it all. They've arrived. There's nothing that they can learn. There's nothing that nobody can teach them. They think they should be teaching the Movers Academy, and which is fine. I have no disagreements with. There are other people that are qualified or even more qualified than we are. So if there's people out there that think, "Man, Ernie, I'm beyond being trained. I'm beyond learning something new. I've arrived. I'm the best of the best, and there's nothing that you guys can teach me that I don't already know." Well, yeah, sure. You don't need the academy. You just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully you're being successful. You're being able to provide for your family, and every 5 years you're moving on to the next level and not remaining in the same financial position, but you're able to increase what you're building. And we clap for you. We don't try to sever relationships. We don't try to sever connectivity, networking with you just because you say, "Hey, I don't need you guys," right? Vice versa. We keep it clean. We keep relationships as much as we possibly can, because we do, on the other hand, know that there may come a time in life and in business that we do need to lean on each other to help customers make their relocation and to make it a successful one. So just want to speak to that, killing that idea that this is only for new movers, because it's absolutely not. The other thing is, there's a misconception about training slows down productivity. I think it's a funny thing. Sometimes Juan will post some videos. We've had some drivers post videos of taping boxes and packing something, and we get the comments, "Oh man, that's such a waste of time. You guys are taking too long." We've had owners like, "Man, I'm going to stop my business for 2 to 3 days and invest in these guys." And so what you're really doing is you're not slowing productivity down. You're actually accelerating the quality so that you can go out with the service that you're giving and sell more jobs and get more customers to talk about you and to refer you because of the quality work that they're going to experience from your company. So this is actually accelerating productivity instead of slowing down productivity. Again, I already spoke to this one. The misconception of, we already know how to move furniture. In May, I'll be 41 years in the industry, and I can tell you I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. I'm always watching. I'm always learning. I'm always paying attention to things that some of these guys and girls do. And, I just get excited when people start to think for themselves, they're overcome. And so there are pieces that I encounter that I've never moved before. And so I'm having to be innovative and creative on how to get those things taken care of, safe, claim free, and giving the customer the best experience that they've ever had, right? Training is a skill set, but it's a mindset that's established by a set of standards that you decide to develop. And those are things that through the training, through the 300X podcast, through some of the resources that we'll have available to you, that you guys will be able to strengthen your mindset and establish and define your standards, and that will take you into having a better skill set. Skill set is not just limited to knowing how to pack, wrap, and load, but skill set is also communication. It's also the way you communicate with your body language, the way you overcome challenges, the way you overcome obstacles, the way you overcome stress levels. Those are all skill sets. Becoming a people person, managing not only yourself, but managing your team, managing your company, and the list goes on, right? So those are things that skill set is much more than just packing, wrapping, and loading. Those are foundational. We all need to know them. But as you become more skilled, then you become a better service provider, and you represent yourself and your company, whether it's your own company or whether it's a company that you're an employee of or you're contracted to. You always want to be the highest level of representation and be the best mover and customer service provider that you can be, right? So skill set, again, is not just packing, wrapping, and loading. You also want to always be developing your leadership, your leadership skills for yourself, for your family, for your team, the customer experience. You always want to be aware of claims prevention, which again, these are things that we discuss in the trainings in depth and things that we will be covering in the podcast. And you also want to provide what we call a signature service. You want to be proud enough of the quality of work that you provide, that you're willing to put your name on every box, on every wrap, and on every load, that you're willing to say, hey, I want people, wherever this shipment delivers, wherever it goes, I want people to know I'm signing off on it and I'm proud of the work that I do. I provide quality signature service relocation experiences for people. Again, professional pride. We don't lack pride in our industry, but some of us oversell ourselves and underdeliver when it comes time. So that's the niche that 300X has, is that we help the industry from the operations desk all the way down to the customer's house. I'm excited that this is our first episode. The first one's probably not the best. We're going to grow. We're going to do better, get more tech savvy, and be able to collaborate with the equipment, the systems that we're using, the platforms that we're using. I'm looking forward to the future. I want to talk about the next episode. Hopefully we can get into the partnership we have with LaborNet, how that works, how that benefits you, what's coming with that. There's a lot of things that are new in the industry. What's going on with military? What's the status of owner operators? What are companies looking for? Crew leader status, crew member status, things that we can help the industry to bring some definition to and help guys function, stay out of the drama, stay out of trouble, stay out of wasting time, and looking to help you guys perform better, be better, just all the way around, right? So again, we're here for you. We're excited about what's to come, what the podcast will bring, the things that we're going to learn together, the experiences that we will have. We're here for you, and we're excited. We're trying to knock this out in about somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour. We want to be in here, get to the point. We don't want to ramble on. We don't want to just talk to talk. We want to be effective in what we do. I'll go back, watch it, learn from it, and we will get better, and we will be more precise, and we will come in with a scope instead of a shotgun, right? So again, I'm excited for what's to come with the 300X podcast, the podcast for movers, and we're here for you. We're going to do what we can to make this a great journey. We hope to network with a lot of you guys. We'll provide the information that we can, as accurate as we possibly can, and we're going to be here for you. And we thank for all of you guys that have supported X throughout the last 3 years, those that have sponsored us, those that have supported us, those that have been there for us through the good, through the bad. We're excited about it. That concludes this episode of 300X Certified, the podcast for movers. We'll see you guys in the next episode.